guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Lune, and I hope you're well, and if you're not, I hope you're well soon. And the message today is, what if you are good enough as you are right now in this moment? What if there is nothing you need to do, say, or be, my cat's in the background, to be enough? What if, right? And that's not to say that maybe you do have something that you need to do, or that you have been wanting or needing to say to someone, but understanding that these things, these truths, don't mean that not doing that or doing it changes your core sense of being enough, of being worthy. Does that make sense? So I have identified a specific wound that I harbor, but many of us harbor, especially in an individualistic, if you live in the culture that I live in, individualistic culture, individualistic society, capitalist society, where product, profit, and performance are held at a high level and as a standard. So essentially, you need to do a lot and to be a lot and to produce a lot in order to be successful. That is the narrative, that is the message. And it can be on an individual level too, depending on how you were brought up. But it's an interesting wound because it's performance. It is, again, it's measurement. It is measurement of your ability to be good enough, or your existence as good enough or not. It's actually black and white, which is it's very interesting. It's like a black and white wound. Either you're perfect because of this or you're not. But the interesting thing about that type of wound is that no matter what you do or do not do, it will never be enough, because there is always something that is being shown to you that you need to strive for, or that you need to be in order to be enough. It's a strange paradox, almost, right? So we're going to be talking about that, and I have some cards. I got a new card deck for Christmas, which I was very excited about. So we're going to use that today, and we're going to see what happens. So let's get into it. I'm going to read from the little booklet because I have not even read all of these little passages, but I'm very excited to. So we'll start with this card, number 44, Stinker. Number 44. Here we are. Okay. Essential meaning: strategy, being analytical and logical. Interesting. So it says, keep it simple and you will win the game of life you're playing right now. Which is interesting, right? Because I was just talking about perfectionism. Apologies, there's probably going to be people walking above me. But perfectionism. So it says here to win at the game of life, but keep it simple. So it's almost like this paradox of you need to win something, but also you need to keep it simple. It's like these multiple conditions occurring all at once that you are tracking or trying to track in order to be good enough, right? But all that does, it brings you into analysis paralysis, and this sense of just, it's almost like a sense of confusion but trying to find order in that confusion, if that makes sense. Because when you have this wound, the goalpost is always shifting, always changing. It's always moving. It's always becoming less. It's always becoming more. So you may notice there are some moments where maybe one situation occurs. Like, okay, so maybe you're even alone and you're creating a piece of art or whatever, and you mess it up by a standard that you created that day, and then you get really upset about it, and and it ruins your whole day. And then say there's another day where you're creating art and the same thing happens, but you don't have that same reaction, and it surprises you because typically you have that reaction. I think that can show you the cracks in these wounds of how there are moments where if you mess up, actually it's okay, right? Actually it's okay. But you also notice that the moments where these things happen, you are always judging yourself, or at least most of the time judging yourself. It feels more comfortable to judge yourself in that moment than to just accept what happened and not really put meaning to it. That is evidence of a performance perfectionistic measurement type of wound within you. So when it says keep it simple and you will win the game of life you're playing right now, I want to remind all of you that life is kind of like a game in the sense that we are always expanding and changing and shifting, and we are achieving. That achievement is different for all of us, and sometimes is set by society and culture as well, or individuals or families. But to remember that it's not about winning anything. It's not about winning, right? That's not what life itself is about. It is essentially a product of humanity existing, right? We create the meaning in our minds about what these things are, about what we're winning. We put the goalpost there. You see? So I want to say that you might be playing some sort of game, but you don't have to win by a standard to be good enough. It's finding that sense of being good enough while you're playing the game, per se, if that makes sense. So, thinker, right? It's like having that awareness that you can be good enough regardless of what you're working towards, and that you can work towards things without judging and tearing yourself down if it doesn't turn out the way you expect, the way that you want, the way that it should, because that brings surprises. That makes life interesting, right? It's just existing as we are and seeing what can happen. All right, so then we'll buy the book, number 11. Buy the book. And I feel I already know what this is going to be about. But let's find out, because life is full of surprises. So that's number 11. Okay. Oh, well, it's just what we were talking about. So, essential meanings: abiding by social rules, conformity, respecting cultural or family customs, universal laws. So I'll read this part real quick. The universe works within a structure of divine laws that principles that provide a framework for human experience and evolution. Laws keep social order and govern behavior, reflecting an instinctive understanding that harmony is important. Oh, okay. So it's like being able to... This is interesting too, right? Because I also find that people have this tendency to want to reject all social systems, like entirely, like the fact that that's a thing. And I find myself doing this too, because there are things about these systems that I don't agree with, that really rub me the wrong way and are not very nice. But it's good sometimes to recognize that these things are also necessary. They provide structure, law, order, and the opportunity for us to grow as people and to experience life in a specific way. And that in itself is also valuable. So, kind of like that yin yang energy, right? There's chaos and there's harmony, and both simultaneously feed into and support the other, right? From chaos can be harmony, and sometimes harmony must be disrupted and brought into chaos for things to transform into something more harmonious or something that just needed to change. Like you see that it's like two sides of the same coin. I love that metaphor because it's very accurate to what this is. It's all one, but there's different sides and facets to it, to that existence, to that reality. So, very interesting. It says, now is the time for a real change in consciousness as you are incited to revolt. Challenge the structures that are limiting authentic progress. It is not enough to rebel in small ways. This is a call to revolution. Focus on what you really want to achieve, regardless of whether it feels so far outside the box that the established order may reject it. Genius, invention, and transformation are rarely comfortable and less likely to be accepted by the mainstream. So, then that is speaking to how the structures in place may be different than what you are trying to achieve or what you are meant to achieve naturally. Again, there's like no standard. It's just what you feel and think and experience individually and within your community and your culture to go in a specific direction, even if that's not accepted by the mainstream. Because, and I love this, genius, invention, and transformation are rarely comfortable and less likely to be accepted by mainstream. And the thing about that is that is usually true. Change, chaos, disruption, in this form, breaking out of the mold that has been created. And the funny thing is too, is that the mold itself is always changing, especially and usually because of people who decide to break out of it. Humanity itself has all of these patterns and shifts in consciousness and just shifts in being and shifts in ideas and expression all the time. Constant change, constant. And it's really beautiful because this, and I don't want to say as a justification because then that's also like you needed like permission to go in this direction, but I think hearing this may give you that green light of like, okay, just because something isn't accepted by the mainstream or by a lot of people in society right now doesn't mean it won't be one day, or that it won't create the pathway to a reality that is different than this one and is beneficial. You see what I'm saying? Inventions, like again, like go back in time, a lot of people who began social movements, cultural movements, people hated them in that time period. They didn't understand them, they looked down on them, they actively hurt them probably, which I'm hoping that doesn't happen to you, but what I'm trying to say is there was always that period of time where there wasn't that acceptance because you're literally breaking out of something that was created and even if it isn't the most beneficial, accepted as the norm on a mass scale, whether people realize it or not. So it's a very interesting little 1441 on the timer. Change and structure, right? And that's funny, 1441, because 4s are all about stability and structure, and 1s are about new beginnings That's interesting. It's like that step after a new beginning has been realized and it's starting to materialize. That's what I'm feeling from that. But anyway. Alright, and then we will go to, we've got poised, number 48, and building blocks, number 28. So, poised and building blocks. Very cool. We'll do building blocks first, I think. Number 28. I love this deck already. It's very fun. Do, 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 do. 27. 28. Alright. Here we are. Essential meanings. Strong foundations of beautiful work in progress. You have everything you need to cultivate an extraordinary life. This is a time when your focus needs to be on the foundations you build upon. Your work, your relationships, and your very being are underwritten by your values, ethics, morals, and core beliefs. Are they still true for you? Will they stand the test of time and serve as the solid grounding upon which you construct your life? Now you are making changes that will affect everything in a positive way. Your destiny is truly a remarkable and beautiful design. So, I love this. I really do. I really do. But there's one part that I'm gonna read real quick and then we'll really get into it. So, it says, now is the time to address the cracks in the foundations of your life. Perhaps. Perhaps your values have changed and it is time to strengthen your convictions and let go of the things that no longer serve the vision you have for your life. Or perhaps you chose to ignore the signs that a situation or agreement you have entered into is not right for you. Remove the rotten pieces and reinforce your core of moral strength and integrity. Now is the time for rigorous honesty, for you are called to renovate and upgrade your consciousness. You will be so happy when you do. Do not be afraid to replace what's not solid. Again, it's coming right back into, yes, structure is necessary, structure, stability, that is a part of the flow of life, but also so is the breakdown and the rebuild of everything all the time. Perhaps in your life, back to this like perfectionistic, performance-driven viewpoint, perhaps you're realizing that that is not benefiting you anymore. Perhaps it came from a time in your life where you were trying to survive, and that was the way that you did survive within the structures that exist now. But this is calling, yes, this book is calling you. It's calling to tell you that that's changing. You don't need this anymore to survive. In fact, it is taking you away from being able to thrive. That doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with the fact that that wound and that pattern is there. It's simply understanding that you can notice it and know that it exists without judging yourself for it because it was something that was benefiting you in some way at some point in time, right? But that now you don't need that anymore. You don't need it anymore, and that doesn't mean it's easy to put it down and to close the door on it because there are remnants of it within you still. It still impacts how you view yourself in your life right now. And there's no need to be, again, to judge yourself for that, right? Right? And I just want to read this right again. Strong foundations, a beautiful work in progress. That is exactly what you are. A beautiful work in progress, always, all the time. That is what all of us are. And you do have a very strong foundation at this point in time. And every version of yourself before and after this has been a part of that process and is part of what is you, the work in progress that you are, the beautiful work in progress that you are. Okay? So, Oh, that's so beautiful. We'll go on to 48, poised. I really want to see what that's going to say. It's an interesting card there. I'll show you, actually. It's so interesting because they're poised, like it's poised as in like, you know, like poised, like elegant, beautiful. But they look so carefree. They look so carefree. I wonder how that's gonna play into this card. They look so joyful. It's very beautiful. 48. Oh, okay. Interesting. So it's being ready, bringing something to light, being at your best, confidence. Wow. Very beautiful. Very beautiful. So, you can be assured that you are ready for anything right now. You know what you need to do. Your skills are sharp. You've come to this place armed with wisdom and knowledge, and you sense a new phase of your life is about to begin. People respond to your confidence and trust you. This is an auspicious time to begin new things. Oh, here we go. All right, this feels very necessary to read one. Let's do it. When you're confident and happy in your own skin, you are ready for deeper, more intimate relationships. You have nothing to prove right now. You are completely yourself and can handle anything. You have every reason to feel confident. Everything you need to make your success concrete is now at your disposal. You can take action knowing you are ready to step into your power, into your light, and into your service to the world. So, it's funny, poised, it's about, and maybe that it kind of makes more sense now with this card, right? Poised, like poised, but they're carefree. Oh, it comes back to the perfectionistic perform. Okay, so poised, right? You see this woman, she's on a podium. She's at this point where people, imagine, to me, it seems like people are watching her. She's very seen, she's very noticed by people. But what's interesting is that she's on this podium, on this column, if you will, with this sense of joy and confidence in being who she is without fearing that it isn't enough, that there's a specific way she should be standing, that there's a specific way she should be speaking, expressing, doing, a specific path she must be walking. And that is exactly what this message is about. If you are wondering, yes, you are enough as you are, and there is not a specific way that you have to be in order to be enough, and in order to live a beautiful life as you are. And that's what this is showing. You have everything within you to have the relationships you desire, the success you desire, whether that is internal, external, material, psychological, whatever success you see it as. And it's not clear-cut measurable either. Life itself cannot. We have science, right, where we measure things, but it's important to know that certain things cannot be measured and should not be measured. Because when you put a measurement, an expectation, a performance on something as complex as a human being, you're never doing it justice. You are limiting it. And this is speaking to how that itself is what has been limiting you. But you're ready to step beyond that limitation. Oh, that's so beautiful. So I want to show you all the cards real quick. Then we'll close this video out because this has been so beautiful. I'm excited to post this. Thinker and By the Book. I also like that there's elephants here, And look, there's like little tiny ones that you start with the baby, progressively up to the older elephant. Again, I think that this is showing you a progression of essentially your place in the world, how you viewed yourself, the different versions of you, the child version, the teenage version, the young adult version, the midlife, or however old you are, however many versions of yourself you have. It might not even be defined by your age. It could be moment to moment versions of you that you notice that are progressively bringing you to a new point in your life, a new understanding of yourself within the structures of the world, how you are part of them and how you rebel against them every day. It's very beautiful. We have building blocks and poised. And again, even the lady on the building blocks, she just looks so... Oh, wow. She looks confident, but she's also... She has different... there's different pieces. She looks fragmented, yet confident. But I don't think it's fragmented in a bad or like a... bad or negative sense, whatever. It's almost like she accepts all these different facets of herself and of life itself, and she uses it to her advantage to build the foundation that she envisions for herself, that she knows that she can have and that she is already building. And again, it cannot be measured. It looks like these blocks, like it seems like there's a specific height to this, but whatever, the blocks itself seem like they're constantly shifting and changing in size. It's very interesting. It's very interesting. There is structure, yet there is malleability. There is the ability to change and shift naturally, without measurement, without putting a label on it. That is the beauty of humanity. Wow. So that's the message. I hope that was helpful, and I hope you enjoyed it. I did. And yeah, I hope you're well. If you're not, I hope you are well soon, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.